Good morning, class. We don't have a lot of time today, so I'm going to try and rush through this video as quickly as I can. Like most stories in my life, this video comes from a complaint that I have, and I'm going to rearrange the pieces such that this is an educational lesson for you and a chance for me to rant about my living situation. Today, we're going to be talking about DEMs, Digital Elevation Models. In the group of DEMs, we have DTMs, that are Digital Terrain Models, we have DSMs, which are Digital Surface Models, and a whole host of other things. DEMs can come in raster or vector data forms, and that'll be important in just a moment, but that should give you a baseline understanding of what we're going to be talking about today. My complaint begins with a trip that I made to a friend's house. Now, I decided to bike over to my friend's house, and halfway through the journey realized that it's only uphill. I live in a very depressed area, and I wanted to prove that. I didn't want to just complain to my friends and say, oh, good gosh, it's so difficult to get to anywhere from my house because I live in such a low-lying area. But I wanted to run the numbers and show them the receipts, as it were. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. As we do with most GIS projects, we need to begin by collecting data. Now, there isn't a lot of data that I need for this particular problem set. There are really just two things that I want. A digital elevation model, however that form may come, and road network system, so I can chart accurately the path that I took to get to my friend's house. I found a DEM that was in vector form. It was a collection of data points, which is itself not a problem, but it just means that we have to do a little extra work to get it in a state where it's usable to me. And that process is called interpolation, and we're going to get to there in just a second. But finally, finding road and network data is not difficult at all. Actually, I would probably say it's one of the easiest data sets to find anywhere in the world for any country. And so with those two data sets, we kind of have everything. That's our data collection process step completed. Now we're going to go into the data processing. I'm not going to bother with data cleaning because this is kind of a very fast, quick, and dirty analysis. So I've actually already set the project up here, call it elevation, and we're going to go and grab these elevation points. Now, don't worry too much about what's over here. Now, look at this. This is kind of really difficult to look at, right? In fact, some people might find it kind of gross. Personally, I don't really. It looks like data. But yeah, if you zoom in, it's a lot of it's data points. And if we look at the attribute table, we find really not a lot here. The rotation, I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know what the rotation is, nor do I understand what this size column is. Text, which is just called text for some reason, is our height. And I'm not sure why they didn't label it height. So we're working here with the vector data, but I want raster data. And the reason I want raster data is because I have a profiling tool that will basically run over each pixel and tell me what the height looks like. However, if I'm doing that with the vector, not going to work. Vector data is not going to work right now. We need to turn this into raster data. And the way we can do this is we have a function here called nearest neighbor. And it's giving me a warning. I'm not going to pay attention to that. We're going to change the attribute that we want to that we want represented as text, because if you remember in the metadata, text is the height. We're going to change the cell size to 10 because if we have them every 100 meters, our data, our elevation might not look all that. It might look very blurry. We want as high a resolution. I'm not going to set it to 1. I actually tried this last night and my computer crashed. it takes a long time. It's also a very outdated function, so I'm not going to push the boundaries here. I'm just going to let it do its work. All right. Whoa, that is not what I saw last night. What happened? Well, anyway, this is the raster data. Now, it's not perfect, clearly. It interpolated a lot of data that just doesn't exist. But that's fine, because really, so long as we have a general idea of the elevation in certain areas, I'm actually fine with the way this looks right now. So, quick explainer. Anything that is dark is a lower elevation. Anything that is lighter is a higher elevation. We're looking at a range of 75 meters to 218 meters. And that's our elevation. And if we pull this profiling tool on, beautiful. It looks kind of jaggedy, but we have, funny enough, we have a cross section of a river here. And I've done work on flood analysis before, and I've taken cross sections of rivers. And this is actually a really good tool to visualize the riverbed and banks of a river and how it changes over time. But that's not what we're talking about today. So for example, if you were to be walking from point A to B, this is the elevation you would be looking at over time as you walked from point A to point B. Very simple. Now, to make my complaint more valid, we have to look at the actual path that I take to get to my friend's house. Damn, if that ain't beautiful, I don't know what is. And that's it, really. That's the data. That's the data to prove that it sucks to get from me to my friend's house. Man, it is oh god, what an awful path. Honestly. I honestly don't have much more to say here. I just don't know how to end this video. I hope you learned something today. I hope you're having a better month than I am. And if you have any questions, I will answer them in the comments below this video. Have a wonderful day.